Probably would have helped if he had.
What do you do with a wrench?
Tom, what type of parts on this need regular, maintenance?
The hose. The hose, that's it. If everything's properly put together and aligned, the only wearing part in this thing is the hose. Obviously the sprockets, chain, and drive sprocket will wear, but I mean you're gonna put a lot of time. I mean things like couplings will wear out after people have pumped, a million cubic feet of mud through them. The tips, the air tips, like if you take that orifice out, I've seen those things just completely just be paper thin. So the tools you need to take this thing apart are socket drive, 1/2 inch, 9/16, a monkey wrench, a hammer, and a screwdriver. That's it. And a little bit of moisture.
That was our problem. We had way too many tools.
Too many tools.
None of them being on that list you just
Well, this is two of them. That's a hammer. Pry bar.
There you go.
And this one's not going to come out easily, is it? Alright, let me run to my truck and get my bottle of silicone. I'll make this come out really easy. Give her one of those. Put it down there.
Give her a shot in there.
Give her a shot in there.
Yeah, he was sitting there with all the tools and that was our problem. We didn't have none of the things on your list.
Yeah.
Had like 7 screwdrivers and
We had to hook this thing up to the air compressor and we'll pump it out. See how bad this thing sounds. This is a 20 to 1. That's a 10 to 1. So this has got more power. I don't know how stiff it makes it. We might not be able to run that one. We'll find out. What was it? Reduce that thing up to like 110 psi and push it. After removing the pumping line and hopper is to loosen the gearbox. The gearbox sliding forward and backward is what puts the tension on the chain. So you loosen the gearbox up, push it all the way forward. That'll loosen all the tension, allow you to pull the chain and pull the guts out the back of the pump.
socket.
And that's what loosens it. So you just slid it up about 2 inches. spill down the water. I always like to take the top one out and drive the shaft out through the bottom instead of flipping it over and driving the shaft up that way.
Got a bolt out of your toolbox.
Somebody put a metric bolt on it. The next recommendation is if you have to bang on the shaft, you put the bolt back in it and bang on the bolt and not the top of the shaft, because if you mushroom the top of the shaft, you're never going to get it out. There's also two flats on this collar, one here and one here, that these two Allen screws should line up with.
Interesting.
Now you can take a horse to water. Never means he's gonna drink it.
So this is that's the correct way. You line those two up with the flats and it locks the shaft in place. Oh, it was alright.
Huh?
Yeah, that's how it was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No, he just moved it.
He moved it.
Oh.
Jody.
So now once you got everything loose, it's really easy. You can spin the guts and get to the center shaft bolt, which is what holds the shaft and the guts in place. And that's 3/8. Okay, so if all goes to plan, that thing should just pop right out through it. Hey.
I like how all your tools are orange.
There's a reason for that too.
I believe it. I believe it.
Hey, there we go.
Watch your fingers on that. That's a pinching mechanism right there.
Jody knows all about that one.
Yeah, it's a pinching mechanism.
We have to push that drive sprocket up, I think.
You gonna push this thing on back out to you?
Actually, you know what? I'll just take this off.
All four?
Yeah.
I know, it's nice.
So there is a difference between these two pumps.
There is a difference between this.
This
pump
is a
and that
20 to 1. That's a 10 to 1. That one's gonna run twice as fast. This one's gonna have twice the power.
It'll shoot a firmer mix.
Yeah, it'll shoot a firmer mix. There you have it.
Okay, you win.
Now what I like to do once all the pump is torn down, what I would do at my shop is I'd get up there with a hose and a 3-amp scrubby pad and make sure the backing plate is smooth, because if you got any old cement particles or anything like that in there, that's what wears out your hose. If the wheels are smooth, the backing plate's smooth, the hose isn't going to really take abuse on the outside casing. How's it looking? Pretty smooth. And there should have been a different washer.
Just want to tilt that up just a little bit.
When the pumps are welded, the housing slightly different. So you're gonna run.
Are you missing this one?
Yeah, because your bottom finger bearings are riding. You can see this wear pattern right here, and that means the finger bearings are riding on the bottom of the unit.
Which they're not supposed to.
They're supposed to be about that much clearance.
Really?
Yeah, the only thing, these are just to guide the hose, not to roll on the
Not
to
touch,
roll on the
right.
housing. Correct.
Okay.
Which, if it does, you can see it still works.
And that also attributes to losing your chain.
It attributes to losing your chain, loss in power, extra wear and tear.
Is they supposed to be completely parallel?
Actually, the top one should be bent down just a little to.
I noticed there's a difference. It seems
This
like.
one's been bent.
Yeah.
This one's been bent. That probably happened when the chain got bent off. And what you can do to fix that is you can take these Allens out, and right here on the side of the plate, you put this right here,
Bend her back.
and then torque up on it.
Easy enough.
Same thing with the bottom. I could probably show you on the bottom one. If I can hold it without a vise. Maybe not. But that's what you do. You put it there, and you bend down.
Center bar.
Preferably done in a vise with a breaker bar on the end of the wrench.
Sir, that's on the bottom. Was that Teflon or was that steel? What was that spacer?
There are two
Was it
different.
just a lifter?
There's two different size Teflon washers and a steel one, depending on how the guts have to be shimmed. So you're always going to have a fat one, and it's either going to be that one on the top, or that one on the top.
That's the way. Yeah, that's the way.
That's
what we had.
That's how this one was.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't have that.
You didn't have a skinny. And what you really want to see and how we tune them, you've got the chain right here on the top. Right here. That's a perfect finger bearing right there. You've got just a little bit of space.
Yep.
So you want to open these up to the maximum, so when that hose crushes down and the hose gets fat, that it's allowing the hose to get fat and it's not trying to turn it into a square.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if these get bent up, you want to bend these down so they're just clearing the bottom of the pump. So the higher up you have the guts in the pump, the more spacing you can get on the hose. When you're running an 1 1/4 hose or a 1-inch hose, it's not as important,
Right.
the spacing on these, because the 1-inch hose isn't going to grow as fat.
Yep.
And you can also see the wear pattern on the wheels. You can see where this black line stops right here, and this black line stops up here.
Yep.
That means that the hose is riding further on the top of the guts than the bottom.
Gotcha.
That's because the guts are too far down in the pump. So by putting
is-
another
yeah.
shim on it, you create that wear pattern, so it's right in the middle of the wheel. The long one goes in the top. The short one goes in the bottom. Long one, top. Short one, bottom. when you put it back together, you want to put Loctite on them, blue Loctite or red Loctite. The red you might have to remove with heat on a disassembly, but blue will work fine to keep those things centered. These naturally spin, and the vibrations will loosen those up if you don't Loctite them. That's another thing. I probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I should probably have a piece of cardboard down, because by rolling these wheels around on the cement, you're just putting little nicks in them. They're not getting hurt right now, but I wouldn't take this out into the stones and do the same job, because you're just going to put little nicks and chips in your wheels. So put a piece of cardboard or paper or something down. They're made of aluminum. That one's full of stuff.
Yeah, those white scripts.
That's your favorite tool in the toolbox, huh?
That's about all I had.
This thing's gonna fall apart in pieces.
I gotta go forward to the coaches.
So as soon as I
Say them cost.
lay it down,
250.
yep,
Can't believe I'm
Yep.
right there.
Oh, we're freaking
Is that tungsten or stainless?
just stainless.
Tungsten feel like. I mean. Man.
Yeah, I can bend through these all day.
Sure. That's ridiculous.
there you have it.
So,
When you reassemble, there's a serial number on these guts somewhere in the corner. Or if you can't find it, mark the two. Here's the. There it is somewhere.
serial number, ain't it?
There's a serial number. All right, there's a serial number here. There's a serial number here. Always make sure when you put them back together, the serial numbers are matching. All right. So. Oh, the bent one. The bent one was the top, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Let's do this real quick. All right. Which one was it? Is it this one right here?
Yeah.
So we're going to want to bend it that way. Don't know how we're going to hold on to it though. It was hollow.
Yeah.
Slide on it. See, you normally don't want to torque on it either because you'll pop this weld and you break the whole bearing off.
A little bit.
It moved. I don't know if it took the bend. So you kind of got to overbend them.
little better.
You do anything to it?
A little bit.
I guess we're gonna go with that. You want to get the hose, and we'll just wash all these guys up, all apart. Get the old grease and crap off it. This is another thing you can inspect if you ever have to tear down these pumps. Are these bolts right here and here? Holds your bearings inside. Sometimes these will get loose, and the squeeze wheel will ride up and down on the bearing because either these got loose or these sheared for some reason.
Check those for tightness.
So yeah, once you have it completely disassembled, it never hurts just to put a big screwdriver on there and give it a torque. Thanks, man.
Just greased up good, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Dawn. Mix Tide and Dawn up in your hopper. Swish it around, and that actually, I use it for like a lot of grouts, epoxy grouts. Tide will cut the epoxy. I don't run toluene, xylene, or any of that other chemical through it. Just Tide and sponge balls. The hotter the water, the better.
Well, I got you a piece of cardboard.
All right, we'll put it back together on the cardboard. We'll be nice to it.
If you have a situation where that happens and it creates that burr, you got a simple fix.
Get out
for
the
it.
file.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'll take it to work, I'll put it on my lathe, and I'll just put a file on it. Or you can just, you know, do the long way, hold it between your knees and
Keep it simple.
Yep, keep it simple. Here. Hose in what hole? That doesn't matter. The only thing you have to worry about is lining up the serial numbers.
And why is that?
When we jig them up, you could probably mismatch the serial numbers, but when we jig them up and weld them, that's just how we put them together. So
I
that's
mean,
how
why do they have? Aren't those both the same?
the Trigons,
Yeah.
there might be a minute difference in them.
So you just.
So
want
when we
to
jig
make
them all the way up,
right.
and when you're talking about smashing a hose within a thousandth, it doesn't take much to be off.
Right. Oh yeah. I can imagine.
So that's the way we jig them. That's the way we assemble them. I'm sure there's pumps all over the world that are all different.
Matched.
Yep. The one with the shaft on it is the bottom. And if you notice on the serial numbers too, one says B and the serial number, and the other one says T and the serial number. Bottom, top. And this one didn't get a serial number because it's my shop. There's been others.
Yeah.
We are the original, as far as I'm concerned, the only peristaltic pump. QuikSpray.